proud to work at Discovery. I think it's a terrific company. You may be familiar with it because of the Discovery Channel, but we have several other channels, TLC, Animal Planet, Investigation Discovery, et cetera. We're in over 200 countries. I'm part of the digital group, and we actually have some digital properties as well, not tied to the TV networks. We have Pet Finder and Curiosity.com, How Stuff Works, et cetera. So that's the commercial. I don't have any profound words of wisdom to drop on you today, so I borrowed one from Technorati. I'll give you a second to read it. So one of the reasons I did choose this is because it talks about something that, frankly, as a student of TV history, I'm particularly excited about, and that is this natural behavior that is been historically tied to watching television. Television for the last 60 years or so has been part of our cultural fabric. It has been a medium over which or through which we have bonded socially. And social bonding is one of the things, talking about natural behavior, that defines us as humans. It makes us different than the rest of the animal kingdom. Frankly, and there are plenty of studies that talk about this, social bonding makes us happy. And let me go back and just show you this picture of this happy-looking family from the 50s bonding over the television set. But with progress in technology, there are always unintended consequences. When I went to school in the South, and one of the things I learned going to college down there was that air conditioning, believe it or not, that technology, one would think, terrific, you know how hot it is in the South in the summer, but that actually, the advent of air conditioning completely changed Southern culture. It brought people off of the porches, off of the front yards where they used to spend time with each other and commune, into their homes where they cooled down and frankly became isolated. I think we all are aware of the fact that the advent of the automobile allowed people to get out of the crowded, dirty city centers and move out to the suburbs where there was more land and fresh air. And of course, what happened was that we created congestion and auto pollution, et cetera. And with television, as it's evolved and progressed, this picture of the family sitting in front of the TV, this doesn't exist anymore the way that it did even just 30 years ago. When I grew up, frankly, there were 3 channels to watch. A lot of families associated themselves with one of the 3 networks. We were an NBC family, which meant that at 7 o'clock we watched the nightly news with Tom Brokaw. It was John Chancellor and then Tom Brokaw, and then I think we watched Wheel of Fortune while we did the dishes or something, and then 8 o'clock was the Cosby Show and Family Ties and Hill Street Blues, etc. My family and I, we all watch the same program. Now, I come home from work and my kids are watching the Disney Channel, and then at 8 o'clock they go up to bed. My wife and I negotiate over what we're going to watch because we don't necessarily like the same things. And then after we watch one program together, she usually goes off to do something else, and then I'll watch something that I want to watch that she doesn't like. Last night it was Walking Dead from AMC. The reason it's like that, of course, is that there's so much variety, so much choice. There's programming for everyone, so everyone wants to watch the thing that is for them rather than all of us watching the same thing together. So it's nice that technology has given us the 500 channel universe, but that social bonding thing that used to happen just 30 years ago happens less and less. However, the good news is that technology and progress, they generally solve these problems. So even though the people in the South are spending more time inside, the telephone became ubiquitous, and they were not only able to talk to their neighbors down the street, but the folks who lived across the town or their friends who moved away. Now, of course, we all have cars, but we never need to leave our homes. We can work from home, we can shop from home, we can order groceries from home. when I was a kid, my parents spent the whole weekend doing errands, running errands. I never leave the house when the weekend comes because all my errands, except for the dry cleaning, I haven't figured out how to use technology to get my dry cleaning done. So technology solves these things, and it looks like, in my view anyway, that technology with social viewing is going to help sort of solve this thing that's been missing recently, which is that social bonding over TV programs. Because when we can't, if we're not all watching the same thing sort of together, virtually we can find the people who are watching what we're watching. So I suppose this ought to be called the future of innovating to create a shared experience in the living room, even if you're watching Walking Dead by yourself, because your wife can't stand it and has left the room. So one of the keys, of course, is the real-time component to viewing. And there's another instance where technology via DVR and on demand has sort of changed that real-time component of TV viewing that existed 30 years ago. But it is still a compelling component of TV viewing. It is why the Super Bowl is so popular, not because as many people who watch the Super Bowl are football fans, but it's because it's an event that most people on that Sunday night in February are participating in. That notion of sort of participating in something that millions of other people are at the same time is still a compelling kind of bonding experience. It's the reason, in my view, why American Idol is such a ratings phenomenon. Again, it's not because as a society we love music so much. It is that idea that it's happening in real time and we're watching it, and it's one of those programs that sure you can DVR it, but that kind of ruins the experience if you find out who got voted off 3 days later. So we have started by trying to figure out how do we bring that real-time experience to our programs, and one of the first things we've done is looked at the real-time social bonding, that social viewing that's happening organically on social platforms like Twitter and Facebook. And we've tried to actually participate a little bit by adding a little value to that. So generally it's just chatter, it's people talking, but now whenever possible we try and get talent involved. So a couple weeks ago we premiered a show featuring Penn and Teller, and on premiere night we had Penn and Teller tweeting during the show. Similarly, Mythbusters is very popular on social, and so we've gotten the folks from Mythbusters to tweet. Last year, one of our big programming events was a show called Life. It was the follow-up to Planet Earth. We had experts come on and tweet during the show about the production and certain things that happened as they were creating or filming the show that didn't make it into the show. The other thing that we've discovered is that you really have to understand the audience and choose the right platform. So last year, on one of our most popular shows, Deadliest Catch, one of the beloved captains, Captain Phil, passed away. He had a stroke, and we saw the fans flooding to the boards when the news got out. And so we knew, based on our footprint in social media, that the Catch fans weren't necessarily, didn't index high for Twitter and Facebook, and so we created a chat experience, and when the episode memorializing his passing aired, we had a live chat and had millions of folks come in and again commune and share their feelings and thoughts about Captain Phil. What we're really focused on now, though, is probably one of the most exciting things I've worked on in my career, and that's taking advantage of the proliferation and popularity of mobile and tablets to not just focus on the chatter and the talking taking place around our shows, but actually trying to create a real-time interactive TV experience. We kicked this off this summer with Shark Week. We did literally 18 straight hours of synchronous, interactive content tied to the show. We did behind-the-scenes bits. So if there was some sort of production note that didn't make it into the show, the one that comes to mind was one of the shows, the host was paddleboarding in South Africa while a great white shark swam underneath him. He literally learned to paddleboard that morning, and if you've ever paddleboarded, you don't pick it up instantly. There was a good chance he was going to fall off his paddleboard into the water, so it added a little drama getting that little factoid about the show. We offered supplemental content. One of the shows was about a rash of shark attacks, fatal shark attacks that took place in South Africa back in the 50s. And every time there was a shark attack, we put up literally the coroner's drawing of where the bites had taken place on each victim. It was something that was not going to be done in the show, so you can imagine sitting there. It's a little gruesome, but it actually made it pretty compelling. Sitting there with your tablet and there's a shark attack, and then you see the coroner's drawing of exactly how the victim was attacked. We did a gaming element. There were quizzes and a leaderboard, etc. About 250,000 people participated over the course of the week, and we were thrilled with that experience. More recently, as a matter of fact, you can watch tonight if you want to experience it for yourself. Penn and Teller Tell a Lie airs at 10 o'clock on Wednesday nights. The conceit of the show is that Penn and Teller tell 7 unbelievable stories, one of which is and demonstrate these things, one of which is just an outright bald-faced lie, and they challenge the audience to identify which of the 6 is the lie. And throughout the course of the show, viewers are encouraged to vote. At the end of the show, the results of the voting are displayed on screen. 3 out of 4 weeks, the viewers have sussed out the lie. 1 week, the viewers weren't able to get it. And then at the end of the show, Penn and Teller reveal the lie. These experiences, these co-viewing experiences, we've done them, they're on 3 platforms: the iPad, the iPhone, and on the web for folks who want to do it old school style. We've, again, learned a great deal from this, and let me just share a little bit of what we've learned. It is key, and one of the ways we've learned is we've actually, during Shark Week, we did some focus groups, and we had some folks in the room doing the co-viewing, and then we did surveys afterwards. But it is absolutely key that you actually complement. I mean, this seems like common sense, but it's really hard to do that. You complement what the viewer is viewing, and that you don't compete with it. And it can mean everything from the kind of information that you make available to the viewer via that app, to the timing of it. Because if it's a particularly dramatic moment and you pop up something for them to look at and it pulls them away from the screen and they miss it, then they're mad. And you don't want to make your audience mad. Important for our business is that we do experiences that get people to tune in. In the case of both Shark Week and Penn and Teller, it's been a priority that we try and get people to tune in live, particularly for the Penn and Teller show, since there is a reveal, and we want to again do that. And we have the live online poll, and the poll results get showed on air. So we've been doing that live, and we think that the ratings have indicated that live component of it has helped. As I mentioned before, for us anyway, it's really important for us to understand our audiences and to program to them on the right platform. Meet the audience where they are. This is why we focus so much of our co-viewing or our social experiences on Facebook and Twitter, rather than trying to get the audience to come to our website.